So I will say a few words about our works. Here you have the two equipments, the laboratory one and industrial one. And work concerned peaches, and peaches reacted very well to this technology. They even did in brown, which was quite surprising. But it may be not necessarily inactivation of polyphenol oxidase. So data on peach processing was supposed to be presented by Dr. Maribel, but she was unfortunately absent. She intended to come, something happened that she didn't. Then smoothies. Smoothies are a kind of products which are increasingly accepted on the market. Smoothies contain a lot of fiber and are prepared in such a way that they are tasty. The problem is that there is no legislation. The smoothie may be everything, you know, absolutely everything. There may be, for instance, 10% of fruit and something else, so you never know what you are drinking. Everything is called smoothie, but the product is completely different. So if we could say smoothie juices, this is a requirement that 100% of fruit is inside, but we are working on 100% fruit smoothies, and there were different kinds of combinations suggested within our work package. 3-1, banana, apple peach, lemon juice, apple juice. So you see that only juices or purees are used in the smoothies, and the results were very, very interesting concerning quality of the product, etc. And with high pressure processing, there is some problem that if you have bubbles, so they show up, you know. So it's still for thick products like this with bubbles, some improvements are still needed. Plastic bottles, the packages have to be elastic, otherwise they will break during pressure, and that's why the plastic bottles are used here. Of course, the caps sometimes jump out because of pressure, so there are still some problems with this technology, but results are very interesting in IRTA and IFRC in Ireland. Then they work on microwave processing, and this is a general information about the technology. There may be different frequencies used, and critical factors are, of course, as usual, time and temperature, depending on various factors. The problem with microwave are the cold spots, and you may overheat product in some areas, whereas in other areas it's still not sterilized. So for production of minimally processed fruit, which, as you know from yesterday's lecture, should be processed and then kept at temperature below 5 degrees. There is no danger, even if we not fully pasteurize the product will be safe. Of course, there are maybe different approaches, different stages of heating coming up, etc., etc. And here is this industrial tunnel, and parameters which were used by our colleagues are mentioned here, and the technology is described here. Now, the extremely important thing is safety of the product. In IRTA and FRC, a lot of attention was paid to safety of the products, and the experiments were carried out with different bacteria which are harmful for humans, and this included Listeria, Salmonella, and Clostridium. And conclusions from these experiments with microwave are as follow: that use of microwave treatment allows to obtain microbiologically stable product during storage at 15 days, 5 degrees. This is what I mentioned. Generally used for minimally processed. Then we have stability of compounds, etc. This is also important. I go to pulsed electric fields, and this is new technology being developed in INRA in France. And quite interesting. There are some possibilities to use it, you know, in by the industry, but it's still at the experimental stage. The PEF technology may also be used for sterilization, but it's still far away. Minimally processed fruits, the general information is such that the most important thing is selection of raw material. I have had contacts with processors also from Canada, and they were saying 10% of raw material is suited for our products, not everything what is available on the market. So washing, disinfection, loose water, etc., etc. Loose water should be removed. Then we have peeling, cutting. The most important thing that the minimally processed fruit are as close to fresh fruit, you know, as possible, and this is the prerequisite for full acceptance of the product. Our partner in Ireland has no problem of selling their products. His problem is how to fulfill requirements of the market. You know, the requirements are so high that he, with difficulty, manages to supply as much as the market wants. And I asked him, how about if on the shelves in supermarket after, let's say, this 5 days or 7 days product is left? It's not like my business. They are just lowering prices, and it goes like that, very, very simply, you know, no problem. But storage, you know, at 0 to 5 degrees is absolutely important, and 7, 8 days, this is the normal time of retailing. You might see that the lady was very well dressed because processing is in very low temperatures. And there are offers from our Irish partner of new products, minimally processed, which are covered with chocolate, infused with alginate, packed especially, etc., etc. So this is very interesting. And I think the most interesting thing is the apple slices with probiotic Lactobacillus rhamnosus, because some people cannot eat dairy products, and this kind of product would be very, very interesting. Here is the information concerning technology of these probiotic slices. As you can see, the shelf life is 10 days at 2 to 4 temperatures. And wedges or apples or any other product may be treated with different functional ingredients, for instance, Nutrasil, and with other, they were testing many different combinations and came to conclusions that some products may have commercial success, and our partner NBL is interested in introduction into production. Here you have information about the stability of this lactobacillus, and they are quite stable. There is no problem. Even if you wash the slices with water, they are clinging to the surface very, very well. So it means that the product really retains the probiotic properties. Freeze, chill, and sous vide ready desserts, something what is also on the market, but of course a matter of new varieties which will not brown is very interesting, and use of anti-browning agents, etc., etc. Out of apples, champignon occurred to be quite interesting, except of texture, but if treated with MCP, much better results were observed. And as I mentioned, any food offered for the consumer must be safe. And in our in this work package, there is work going on some sterilizing compounds which may be substituted for chlorine, which is normally used in this kind of production.